Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, and in today's video we are talking about going back to school. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let us get into the video. So ladies and gents, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well, and you join me in the wonderful event that is South London traffic at rush hour. Today's video we're talking about what it's like to be going back to school. Now if you're like me, you probably haven't been to school for a number of years, so you probably will have absolutely no idea how much things cost when you go back to school, just like I didn't. And if like me, you're sort of new to the whole parent stroke step parent thing about what you're supposed to do, what you need to buy and stuff like that for sending a kid to school, let me tell you, it was a fucking eye-opening experience for me, I have to admit. Now, me and my fiance, we have a 10-year-old daughter. She's not mine biologically, unfortunately, but I still treat her like she's mine anyway, you know, as a good step-parent does. And I've never asked my missus this before, in terms of how much she spends on school uniform and such like, but just recently, with the school holidays finishing, after having kids off for 6 weeks, this can sound so harsh, but it's so glad to get rid of them. And that's coming from a step parent, so fuck knows what you parents must be going through. But anyway, so this whole school uniform malarkey. When I was a kid going to school, I had absolutely no idea how much stuff cost when it came to school. You know, uniform, PE kit, books, rucksacks, lunch boxes, that sort of thing. I had absolutely no idea how much all that stuff came to, or where the money came from for it. As the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. And as a child, or even as a teenager, even when I was in when I went from primary school to secondary school, again, blissfully ignorant about where the money came from and how things were paid for, because I had absolutely no fucking idea where it all came from and how it happened, being a deluded 10 to 15 year old that I was. Now fast forward 22 years to this year, when the missus went to go and get our daughter's uniform, I was absolutely fucking gobsmacked about how much it all came to. Now bearing in mind that she had to buy 2 school dresses, 4 school t-shirts, 2 sets of school PE kit, school shoes, PE trainers and so on. And you think to yourself, do you know what, that can't cost that much, you know, they're only small. But then you don't realise it's not so much the products themselves that cost a lot, it's the fact that they've got the fucking school's logos on them, which ramps up the prices by about 25%, believe it or not. So a normal everyday t-shirt you can buy in Primark or Asda's or even Sainsbury's or whatever would cost somewhere in the region of about maybe 3 or 4 quid. For the school uniform, or should I say the school variant of that same t-shirt, looking anywhere between 10 to maybe 25 quid. And it's like, fuck me, everything is so fucking expensive these days. And when my missus broke it down as to what she was buying and whatever else, I was like, fuck, this kid is costing us a small fortune, literally every year. I mean, just a little bit of background history. My stepdaughter, her biological father was about 6'2", 6'3". Right now, as a 10-year-old, I think she's somewhere in the region of almost 5 foot tall, probably slightly more than that already, and that's at 10 years old. So by the time she becomes a teenager, she's going to be taller than I am, and I'm the best part of 6 foot tall as it is. It's like, oh my fucking god, kids today, I don't know whether it's just a generation thing or what, but each generation of children that we produce, it's like, holy shit, these kids get bigger and bigger every fucking generation. And like I said, genetics aside, my stepdaughter is a tall kid, you know, there's no two ways about it. She is tall, she's naturally tall thanks to her genetics. But the rate that she's growing through stuff, I mean, for example, normally as a 10-year-old, because of her height, she'd be in like size 11 to 12 clothing, potentially slightly bigger. But her school skirts, and you won't believe this, I mean, she's not a fat kid, but they are 14 to 15-year-old girls' skirts. And I could not believe it. When my missus showed me these skirts, I was like, are they for you? And she was like, no, they're for our daughter. And I'm like, holy absolute shit. Now either she's growing exponentially fast, or the clothes that are being made for kids these days are exceptionally small. Now I don't know which is worse, the kids getting bigger or the clothes getting smaller. But either way, it's like, oh my fucking god, how big is she getting? I mean, I remember when I first got with my missus, just over 4 years ago now. At the time, our daughter was 5 going on 6. So she didn't know anything different. She didn't know the differences between right and wrong and stuff like that and blah 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 blah. But according to my missus, and this is not me blowing my own trumpet by the way, I've apparently been a better father figure than her biological father ever could be. How true that is, I can't say, because I never met the geezer. But that's a story for another day. But when it comes to this whole school uniform thing, it's not even like she's even that big. Like, structurally wise, where the fuck is this geezer going? What are you doing, you absolute gobshite? But anyway, idiot drivers aside, I've never come across a child that grows so fucking quick in my life. And so when I first met our daughter, like I said, she was 5 going on 6, and she was only about maybe 3.5 foot tall. To look at her now, you wouldn't believe it. The kid is near enough 5 foot tall already, and she's not even in her teens. And I suppose that's the same with every parent, I guess, when it comes to clothes and whatever else. You know, when you're buying uniform for kids, I mean, if you're lucky enough to have one kid, that's one thing. But if you're even more blessed to have a couple, say 2 or 3 kids, whatever, that's when shit gets massively expensive. And there's absolutely no two ways about it. It must be so difficult for parents that have got more than one child. It must be even more difficult if they go to different schools as well. I mean, it's not so bad if they end up going to the same primary school or the same secondary school or whatever, because this sounds so trampy. You can get away with, you know, handing down the clothes from one kid to the next, like when they've outgrown them and stuff. You know, that's one thing, that's one good thing you can do. But if they go to 2 completely different schools with completely different colour uniforms, that's when shit starts getting really tricky. I just can't get over the fact that school uniform these days is so goddamn expensive. Like I said, a t-shirt for the school that my daughter goes to, you're looking at maybe 10, 12, possibly even 15 quid a t-shirt. Same with the jumpers, and their hoodies are something like 35, 40 quid a hoodie. It's like, are you taking the piss? Just because it's got your fucking school name on it. I mean, one of the blessings in disguise when it comes to my daughter's school is the fact that they don't have to wear school trousers. They can wear leggings, they can wear jeans, they can wear tracksuit bottoms, you know, they can wear whatever they want. They can also wear pretty much whatever trainers they want, or shoes. You know, as long as they're smart and they're not, you know, falling apart and whatever else, they can pretty much get away with wearing anything. You know, from plimsolls to trainers to proper school shoes to fucking even sandals. I've seen kids wearing sandals at the school as well, which back in my day was unheard of. There was a strict dress code. You had to wear the correct school trousers, the correct school shirts, obviously the school tie, and even down to the blazers. You know, you had to wear the correct school blazer, otherwise you wouldn't be allowed in the school. Now, I don't know how strict other schools are, but that's how strict my school was at the time. And yes, I am an old fart, and I haven't been to school in the best part of 20 years, which is kind of scary if you think about it. And that's another good thing about our daughter's school, is the fact that she doesn't actually have to wear a tie. Because believe me, if she had to wear a tie, I think she'd fucking hang herself with it. Because she's not the brightest spark in the box, bless her. I used to hate wearing a tie at school, I really did. But one of the good things about it is that once I learned how to do it, I got well happy about it. Do you know what I mean? I like literally got so happy about the fact that I could wear, I could tie up my own tie. And that sounds really sad, but literally that's how it was. And for some reason, when I was a kid growing up as well, when I went to school, I had this weird fascination with keeping my shoes clean. I'm not like it now pretty much, but when I was a kid, it was like, I must have clean shoes, must have clean shoes. It's like, okay. Looking back on it, now I see where I get my OCD from. Oh, excuse me. Tastes like beef hula hoops. But literally, the way things are today for kids, I can understand why they have such a hard time, but at the same time, again, this is going to sound so bad to me because I'm not technically a genuine parent, but it's like, you know, I do feel sorry for the kids because sometimes the parents just do not know what looks good on their kids. But again, like I said, I'm not a genuine parent as such, so please forgive my absolute brutal honesty when it comes to that sort of thing. I wish I could be a bit more, you know, empathetic, I suppose you can call it, or sympathetic, whichever way around you want to look at it. Because someday I will be in that position and I will have to buy my kid a uniform or kids uniforms, and you know, I'll be seeing things from the same place you guys are seeing things now. And speaking of which, if you are a parent and you do follow my channel, you do watch my videos, please feel free to let me know in the comments box down below if you are a parent, or even if you're a step parent. A parent's a parent, do you know what I mean? So if you are a parent or a step parent, please feel free to put in the comments box down below #parent or #parent life even. I have to admit, even though I am a step parent right now, it's got to be one of the most rewarding, if not the most rewarding job in the world. And don't get me wrong, I love working where I work now, but when it comes to other things that are a bit more rewarding, shall we say, when it comes to being a parent, like I said, being a step parent is as close as I've got to being a, in inverted commas, parent right now. And if I'm honest, I think I will make a good parent, or at least I'll try to anyway. I mean, that's all you can do at that stage, isn't it? You've just got to do the best you can. You know, your kids are what you make of them at the end of the day. So if you treat them with respect and you raise them with respect, you know, they won't be like the little shits that we see today. They won't be the jumped up little shits who think it's okay to rob people at knife point and ride around on mopeds that are stolen and treat adults like shit and so on. And all this and more I've already said in previous videos when it comes to that sort of thing. Really? Do you want to go any slower? You're on a fucking moped, bruv, go a bit quicker. You know, you've got a 30-minute or less deadline. What's going on? Hurry up, you can't! Yeah, why aren't you riding like that dude that's just gone in front of us? Twat. But anyway, enough of my whinging. Parenthood. Gotta love it. Believe it or not, for all the stress that I have and all the aggro that I have to deal with on a daily basis, believe it or not, ladies and gents, being a parent for me is probably, if not the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Just like we're speaking with Adrian Nickelodeon not too long ago, he advised me not to quit my day job for YouTube, which I'm not going to do obviously, because right now I'm not really making that sort of money. But even if I was making that sort of money, I'm not going to quit YouTube for, I'm not going to quit my job just for YouTube, because YouTube is good, but it's not everything. But if I had to quit my job for anything, it would be to become a full-time parent. There's no two ways about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a brief insight into the first week back of school for me, my fiance and our daughter. The eye-opening experience of buying school uniform, the costs, the trials, the tribulations, and the fucking pain in the arse there it is to try and find the right size uniform for our child, who's an absolute fucking giant. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Thank you for watching it the whole way through. If you could do me a huge favour and smash the like button, it does help me with the YouTube algorithm, so that would be amazing if you could do that. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have been awesome. I have been Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe on the roads, be aware of COVID-19, and as always, adios.